He has 30 HP. The monster in front of him has 200. One hit, and he's dead. But when evolution appeared, he refused the safe option. He gambled everything on a path no dragon had taken before. And that gamble is the only reason he's standing in front of a 200 HP boss right now. This is Illusia, the dragon who gambled on destiny. Illusia used to be a normal guy, but one day, he finds himself transformed into a dragon egg. And our little egg is in a situation where neither of his parents showed up for his birth. The first thing Illusia sees is a screen, and a voice in his head informs him that his status window will display information about his abilities, which seems handy. But then little egg realizes he should be concerned that he is hearing a voice in his head. The voice explains that she is part of the skill, a divine voice, and that her job is to explain matters related to his status and abilities. Illusia asks if this world is some kind of game, but the voice tells him she can't provide that information since the divine voice skill is still only level 1. Then Illusia asks if she can at least tell him where he is, but the voice once again refuses to answer any non-status related questions, and our little egg gets so frustrated that it rolls off a cliff. By the time Illusia stops, the system informs him that he just received a falling damage resistance ability, which came at a cost because his HP went down by 1 point. And when you've only got 5 HP, that's a pretty big deal. Illusia rolls over to the edge of a lake, and there, he sees his reflection for the first time in this world, and this is when Illusia realizes he is a literal egg. The system informs him that he is a dragon egg, an F-rank monster, and if his shell is somehow destroyed, Illusia will die. Little Egg is already upset about this situation, but to make things worse, the system tells him that dragon eggs are powerless, and have a single-digit status, so rolling around is pretty much all he can do right now. They have the potential to become a fearsome dragon once they hatch, but if you've ever watched wild channels, you know the odds of surviving without turning into a good snack are really low. Little Egg starts freaking out, and all his shaking causes him to roll down the hill, but he ends up falling off another ledge and his HP drops to 3, so Illusia decides to stay put for the meantime because he can't risk taking any more damage. By nightfall, Illusia's HP has finally regenerated, so it's safe for him to start moving again. Illusia breaks into a slow roll across the floor, and as he does so, Little Egg starts thinking about what his life as an egg is going to be like. Being an egg may suck, but sooner or later, he's going to hatch into a dragon and become extremely powerful, so Illusia decides to make that his mission. However, as Little Egg rolls through the forest, he ends up coming across another creature. Illusia gets a little closer to take a look and finds out this thing is called a dark worm. According to its status screen, it has the title of Egg Eater. And this isn't good. Our little egg immediately starts rolling away for his dear life, but at the speed the worm is chasing him, simply running away isn't going to be enough to get him out of this mess. The worm currently has 8 health points, which is more than Illusia's max health, so if he tries to headbutt it, our little egg will die first. Just then, Illusia remembers he received some fall damage resistance earlier today, so Little Egg decides to use that to his advantage and lures the worm over a nearby cliff before tricking it into jumping off with him. By the time they both hit the ground, Illusia is still in one piece thanks to his fall resistance and landing on top of the worm's body. So the system informs him that he has received 12 experience points for successfully killing the worm. As a result, our little egg has leveled up and met the requirements for evolution, so the system then shows him the evolution tree and asks which path he would like to take, the baby dragon or the little dragon. Illusia has no idea what the difference between the two is, so the system starts explaining to him that little dragons are a dwarf species of dragon, but while they may be small compared to other dragons, they can still grow to around the size of a bear, and it also has a deadly fire-breathing ability. In contrast, the baby dragon doesn't really have much going for it aside from the fact that it has the potential to evolve into many different dragon species. But it does taste really good with soy sauce, so Illusia might end up as a delicious meal if he chooses that one. Little Egg really isn't interested in becoming a meal, so the little dragon seems like the safest option to him. But just as he is about to choose, Illusia hears a mysterious voice telling him that he needs to grow stronger and aim for the top. This mysterious voice was completely different from the system's voice, and Illusia had no idea where it came from, but it seemed to be referencing his evolution choice. The little dragon may be the safest choice right now, but the baby dragon has more potential for growth down the line, so even if it may be a risky play, Illusia decides to go with the baby dragon evolution. After the evolution is complete, all his stats go up by a decent amount, but his HP wasn't fully regenerated, so Illusia still needs to rest to restore it. Just then, Illusia's stomach begins to rumble, and his eyes wander over to the worm's corpse, which looks really appetizing for some reason. Illusia assumes this must be his baby dragon instinct at work since he would never normally consider eating a worm. But it's not like he has many food options right now, so he decides to go for it. And it tastes just as bad as he thought it would. The next morning, Illusia wakes up after taking a nap, and his health has been fully restored, but he still has to deal with the fact that he's a baby dragon now. Illusia has no idea why he was reincarnated into this world, who was responsible for it, or even who he was before he was reincarnated. Illusia is fairly certain he used to be human, but he can't recall any clear details of his past life. Just then, Baby Dragon notices a group of dark worms gathering behind him, and now that he is no longer an egg, Illusia can fight back and slice them to bits one after the other. Killing all the worms earned him a ton of experience, so Illusia was able to raise his level to 3 all in one go. This level jump allows him to access the baby fire breathing ability, so Illusia uses it to kill even more worms until he eventually reaches level 7. Then Baby Dragon continues farming worms until he cracks level 15, and with how quickly he has managed to level up, Illusia can't wait to see what his next evolution will be. Just then, Illusia's stomach begins to growl, and he realizes he's probably going to have to eat more of these worms if he wants to keep fighting at max strength. But these things are really gross. Illusia wants to try something else, so he looks around and eventually spots some mushrooms on the ground that look pretty tasty, but then Illusia is reminded of why you never eat random forest mushrooms. Those things were riddled with poison, and he barely managed to survive just now. But it did grant him a poison-resistant skill, so it wasn't a complete waste of time. Baby Dragon still doesn't want to eat the worms, so he decides to head out into the forest to look for some new prey. And a few minutes into his search, Illusia spots a gray wolf. The wolf is bigger than he is, but Illusia's stats are higher, so he decides to go after it and starts running alongside the wolf. Then Illusia punches it to death, and after inspecting the corpse, he realizes that he can use his flames to grill the meat. A few minutes later, Baby Dragon is holding a perfectly cooked piece of wolf meat, and it's the best thing he has tasted ever since arriving in this world. Illusia wants to get more of it, so he decides to start hunting wolves exclusively so he can eat their meat once he is done for the day. Thanks to all his hard work, by evening Illusia has reached level 20, and his next evolution is set to take place once he reaches level 25. However, the rate at which Illusia levels up slows down the higher his level gets, so it won't be as easy going forward. On the bright side, since Illusia has been using his baby breath so often, he has become quite skilled at grilling meat, so his food situation is now solved. Though, Baby Dragon wishes he had someone to talk to besides the system since she never answers any of his important questions. Just then, Illusia hears voices coming from nearby in the forest, and he may not understand what is being said, but it means there are other people here, so he goes to check it out. The voices were coming from a group of humans, and Illusia wanted to talk to them, but that would be difficult to do as a dragon. Individually, none of the humans is as strong as Illusia, but they do have the numbers advantage, so exposing himself to them might be risky, but he doesn't want to be alone forever, so Illusia decides to go out anyway. Unfortunately, Illusia forgot that baby dragon meat tastes great with soy sauce, so the second the adventurers see him, they immediately attack for an easy meal. Baby Dragon tries to tell them he doesn't want to fight, but Illusia can't speak their language, so one of the humans slashes him across the chest, and the other uses a lightning spell to stun him. Illusia realizes this was a huge mistake, so he tries to run away, but the lightning has already made his legs go limp, so there's nothing he can do. The adventurers begin closing in to finish him off, but at the last second, the girl with them steps in to stop them because she feels bad for Baby Dragon. The next time Illusia opens his eyes, he sees the girl healing his wounds, and he is sincerely grateful that she chose to defend him. The other two don't understand why she cares so much about a random dragon that could have been their meal for the night, but if she wants to keep it alive, they aren't going to stop her. Illusia checks her status screen and finds that her name is Miria and that she is human. Miria is also using the last of her MP to heal him right now, and the baby dragon has already regained mobility in his legs, but he knows that Miria will likely leave once she realizes he is healed, so he pretends to be hurt a little longer. Illusia still doesn't understand the words Miria is saying, but from listening to her, he received a skill called language, and if he levels it up, he will be able to understand her better. Just then, Illusia hears screams coming from farther into the forest, and he realizes they must have been the other adventurers with Miria. For them to have screamed like that, there must be a ridiculously strong monster nearby, and if that's the case, there's no way they survive an encounter like that. Miria wants to check on her friends, but the baby dragon grabs her coat to stop her because it's too dangerous, especially since Miria has no MP left. But Miria doesn't understand the warning he's trying to give and runs off regardless. Illusia may not know what kind of monster is out there, but he knows for a fact that none of the humans can beat it, so he needs to save them. But his legs are still a little numb. so it's hard for him to move. By the time Baby Dragon finally makes it all the way over to the side of the screams, he is shocked to find a giant Serank rock dragon, and it has over 200 HP, which is way higher than the 30 HP Illusia has. Normally Illusia would turn around and run away as fast as he could because he didn't want to fight this thing. But then Illusia sees Miria collapse on the floor, and he doesn't want to leave her behind. So it looks like he has no choice but to stand his ground. But there's the problem. The rock dragon has over 200 HP. Illusia is barely 30. One direct hit, and he's gone. And if he runs, Miria dies. There's no third option. But this time, he's not fighting to level up. He's fighting to protect someone. But suddenly, everything goes silent. And then, that mysterious voice said, "Hidden evolution condition met."